So hello and welcome. My name is Martin and today I'm going to show you how we can create HTML5 animated banner in Adobe Animate CC 2019. So this is what we are going to be doing today. Alright, so right now what I am going to do is I am going to download a couple of images. And normally your client would send you some images, or you would go to sites like Shutterstock or something like that. But what I did is I went to the Google and I just typed Mercedes, and I chosen this image, and I'm going to provide the link in the description. So this one, and then I went to Google and I typed Mercedes front PNG, and I have chosen this image. Okay, so both of these images are going to be in the description in the link. Okay, right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Adobe Animate file. So I will click, and right now I'm going to choose my project. So I'm going to go with 800 by 600. I want HTML5 canvas, and I will just hit create. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is save my project. So I will just type Ctrl S, and I will go to the place where I want to save this, and I will create a folder which is banner, and inside the folder I am going to save this. I will call this Mercedes, and I will hit save. And the next thing that I need to do, because right now we saved the animate file, I need to set my publish location, where my HTML and where my JavaScript are going to be published. So I will go to the file, I will go to the publish settings, and here I will go to this icon, I will click it, and now I need to click to the location where I want to go. So here I am, I will go inside my banner, and I will create a new folder in here, and I will call it exported, for example. I will go inside, and I will call this index. You do not need to call this index, it's optional. And I will hit save, and I will hit OK. And right now, if I go to my folder, I can see that here is my exported file, here is my animate file and some recover file. But if I go inside my exported, it is going to be empty. But if I go to my file and I will hit publish, it is going to publish my HTML and JavaScript, and it is going to be in here. Okay, cool. So right now what I am going to do is I am going to import my images to the Adobe Animate. But before I will do it, I need to go to the Photoshop and make them smaller. Because right now they are too big, and we want to have as small size as possible. And if I would go right now to my images, which I have in here, and I would import it like so, you can see that this image is like, it's too big, okay? So I'm going to delete this, and I will go to my library and delete it from my library. Okay, don't even import these images, I just wanted to show you. And what I want to do is open my Photoshop. And in the Photoshop, I'm going to create a new project, and I will go with the 800 by 600, the same size as in the Adobe Animate. And I will hit create. And right now what I am going to do is I will import both of my images to the Photoshop like so. So the first image and the second image. Okay. And right now I am going to get my first image to my project like so. I will convert this to the smart object. You do not need to, but I always do it. I will hit Ctrl T, and I'm going to scale this down. Okay, something like this. And I'm holding Alt and Shift right now. Okay, so I will hit Enter. I will zoom a little bit. And what I want to do now is I want to hide the white background, because I want this to be transparent. And now I will go to the file. I will go to the export, save for web legacy, and I will hit save. But before of that, I will choose that I want PNG 24. Okay, and I will hit save, and now I need to set my location. And so I will go to my images and I will create a new folder and I will call this small. Okay, I will go inside and I will call this one car and I will hit save. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for the logo. So I will get this to my project like so. I will convert this to the smart object, zoom out a little bit, Ctrl T, and make it like so. Okay, approximately. I'm going with my arrows to adjust it a little bit. I will hit enter, and again I will go to the file, export, export as, and right now I am going to choose my not PNG but JPEG, and I can go with lower quality. 80 is still fine, and I will just hit export all, and again I need to set my location, and I will call this one to be logo, and I will hit save. Okay, so first image I exported with export as, the second with save for web legacy. It's like both of them are almost the same. Okay, cool. So right now what I am going to do is I am going to import my small images to the Adobe Animate. So I will open this and I want to start with the logo. So what I am going to do is I am going to import my logo inside. Cool. I am going to change the layer name and this is going to be logo. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to scale this one little bit, because right now my image is the same size as the canvas, which is completely fine, but to make sure that we are not going to have any empty edge, I will click on this one and I will choose that I want 100 and maybe 1 or maybe 2%. Okay, this is a little bit distractive. We could use Photoshop to make it a little bit bigger, but it just doesn't matter, this 2%. Okay, so now what I want to do is convert this to the symbol. So what I need to do is go to the modify and hit convert to symbol, or you can use the shortcut which is F8. Okay, and choose movie clip, and I am going to call this logo. Okay, and I will hit OK. Fine. And if you don't understand any of this, I'm going to provide the link in the description for my introduction to Adobe Animate. And I have many videos on this YouTube channel about Adobe Animate. So right now, I will go inside this movie clip, and what I want to do, I want to create a mask, and in this mask there is going to be this light effect. Okay, and so what I did is when I double click to my image, I am going to be inside this image, and again I am going to rename this to be logo, and I am going to create new layer. I am going to zoom a little bit with my control and scrolling on the mouse, and I am going to take a pen, okay, pen tool, go to the properties, and when you have pen tool you don't have option to choose fill color, you have only option to choose stroke color, but it doesn't matter what kind of color we are going to have right now. And what we are going to do is click like this and create a mask which is approximately going to look like this symbol of the Mercedes. Okay, so like this. Okay, cool. So right now we have the stroke, and if I want to create a fill for this stroke, what I need to do is go to this paint bucket tool, click on it, and just click inside somewhere like so, and it is going to give you a fill. Okay, and right now what I can do is double click on the fill. It is going to highlight the fill and the stroke, and I will get rid of the stroke like so. Okay, and I will call this one to be mask 1. Okay, cool. So here is the mask, and the next thing is that I am going to create a new layer one more time, and now I am going to get my shape. I will get rid of the stroke if there is any. I am going to choose white color, and I am going to I'm going to make sure that I'm on my layer 3, and I'm going to draw something like this. Okay, fine. I will rename this to be a light effect 1, for example, and I will have to convert this to the symbol because I want to animate this. So I will again go to the modify, convert to symbol, and I can call this light 1, for example, and I will hit OK. So right now, what I want to do is I want to expand my timeline. Okay, so my logo and my mask, I do not want to animate them, I do not want to move them. So I will go to the frame 50, for example, and I will hit F5, which is for new empty frame or new frame. And this light effect, I already created a movie clip, and I will go to the frame 50, and I will click F6, which is for new keyframe, and I will move it with my shift like so. Okay, and I'm going with my arrows to move it up a little bit, and I will do the same thing in here. So right now it will go through the top, okay, and I will go anywhere in between, right click and create classic twin, and now we are going to have an animation like this. Okay, and now the magic is going to happen slowly. I'm going to put my mask 1 on the top of my light effect. I will right click on the mask 1 and I will choose mask. And now this is going to take the layer below, and the layer below is going to be visible, or the animation is going to be visible only where the mask was. Okay, so we can see something like this. Okay, and right now you can see that both of these layers, this mask 1 and this light effect, they are locked. Okay, and if I would go and play this in the browser, I am going to hit Ctrl Enter. We are going to have something like this. Okay, and it is going to be looping. Fine, cool. So now what I'm going to do is, this is fine, but I would like to make some kind of blur in there. So what I can do is unlock this for a while. When I unlock it, I am able to create some changes. So I will double click inside of this movie clip. So I am on my shape and I can go to the color. If you do not see it, go to the window and color. Okay, so I will click this, and here are some options. And what I want to have is I want to go with radial gradient. So I will click radial gradient, and now I am going to have one color to choose, second color to choose, and the transparency I can change. So I will go to the left one, I will double click, and I am going to choose the white one. This one is also going to be white, but the left one, I want this to be on the 100% opacity, alpha, but the right one, I am going to put down to the 0, okay? And right now we are going to have something like this. Unfortunately, Animate is going to create this from the top to the bottom, like so. So what I have to do right now is hit Q and rotate this and make it like so. Okay, just change it, and right now we have this blurry effect like so. And we can make it, we can play with it with this if we want, somehow a little bit. Okay, if you go like this, I didn't highlight it the first time. I can change it like so, for example. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. You can choose other color. You do not need to go with white, but I'm going to do it like this. Okay, and right now we are going to lock them so we can see, and it is going to be like so. Okay, I will hit Ctrl Enter, and we are going to have something like this. Okay, fine. The next thing that I want to say is that right now this animation, this blurred effect can look a little bit bad. Okay, if you have if you don't have a good quality of this light effect, what you have to do is go to the file, go to the publish settings, and in the image settings there is this option to texture publishing options, and you want to change this from 8 bits to 32 bits. Okay, and hit OK, and this is going to make sure that your PNGs are going to be 32 bits and they are going to look good. Okay, so I just wanted to say if you by default have this on the 8. Okay, fine, so we have something like this, and I think that this looks pretty cool. If I hit Ctrl Enter one more time, I think that this is pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing is that I am going to do the same thing for this one. But there is this little problem. Normally what I would do is I would create new layer. I would go to the oval tool. I would get my stroke and get rid of my shape, and I would go maybe to 10 pixels or 12 pixels of the stroke, and I would do something like this. Then I would move this and so on. I would adjust it and then make it bigger. But the problem is that when I am working with the stroke, the mask don't work. Okay, I am not really sure why this is happening, but the mask only works with the fill, not with the stroke. So I have to create the shape like this, but without stroke. Okay, so I will delete this one. I will create again the new layer. And what I can do right now is I will go to the view. I will go to the rulers. This is going to give me rulers in here, and you can very easily get rid of them like so. So view, rulers, and I'm going to get a ruler here in the middle like so. Okay, and now I am going to get my shape. I will get rid of the stroke, and I'm going to choose some fill color. It really doesn't matter. And with my Alt and Shift, I am going to start from the center like so, and I'm going to create shape like this. Okay, and now I am going to change the color of the shape. And in Adobe Animate, when you draw a shape on shape, it is going to cut the shape. Okay, and I explained this in my introduction to Adobe Animate video. But what I'm going to do is right now draw another shape on this shape, and again with Alt and Shift like so. And now if I move this green shape, you can see that we have a shape like this, and I am going to delete this one. So right now what I am going to do is I am going to call this shape to be mask number 2, like so. Okay, and right now what I am going to do is I am going to duplicate my light effect, and I can just hit duplicate layers. Even though this is locked, it is possible. And I'm going to move this below my mask 2. And then I'm going to click on the mask, right click and choose mask. Okay? And right now what we have is we have this animation which is going like this. Okay, cool. And I can test this by hitting Ctrl Enter. Yes, and we have something like this. And I think that this is pretty cool. But what we can do is delay our second animation, because I do not like it when this is going simultaneously. So what I'm going to do is temporarily I am going to unlock them. I am going to move this. So we are going to go to frame 80, for example. And right now what I need to do is I need to expand my other frames. So I will hit F5. And here we are. Okay, and I am going to lock them so it is working like so. Cool. So again I am going to test this, Ctrl Enter, and we have something like this. Okay, and by default this is going to be looping forever. Cool. So Now I'm going to go to my scene. So if you are inside, go to the scene. So right now what I am going to do is I am going to animate this up. And if you go inside, you can see that we have 80 frames in here, which means that I do not want this to move up to frame 80, and I will click F6 for the new keyframe. So I want this to stay on the same place, and then from frame 80 to maybe frame 120, I want to animate this up. So what I am going to do is I am going to zoom out a little bit, and with Shift I am going to move this up like so, and I am going to right click and choose Create Classic Twin. Okay, and now we are going to have something like this. Okay, cool. Now what I am going to do is I am going to import my car image. So I will hit new layer. I will go to my folder with images, and I am going to get my car.png inside like so. Okay, cool. And I am going to move the keyframe on the first frame like this. And I am going to rename this to be a car. And I am going to put it below my logo. Okay, cool. So right now what we have is we have something like this. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to convert my car to the movie clip because we are going to be animating it. So I will click and I am going to hit F8, which is shortcut for the movie clip, for the symbol. I will call this to be a car, and I am going to hit OK. So now what I want to do is I want to temporarily hide my logo so I can see, and I am going to scale this down a little bit like so, and I am going to move this down something like this. Okay, and I am going to align this to the center like so. Okay, now what I want to do is I will go approximately to frame 105, and I will hit F6, and then I am going to go to frame maybe 140, again F6, and on this keyframe 105 I want to make this smaller, so I will hit Shift and Alt, or only Shift without Alt, and make it smaller like this. And then I am going to create Classic Twin in between. Okay, but right now I made little mistake because my first keyframe is bigger than this one. So what I can do is I can copy this keyframe to the first keyframe. So I'm going to hold Alt and drag my keyframe like this. Okay, and right now what I'm going to do is click anywhere in between and remove Classic Twin. Okay, so hopefully you understand what I did. And right now we have this kind of animation. Okay, so I'm going to preview how this is going to look. Control Enter. We have this kind of animation of the logo, and then we have something like this. Okay, cool. One thing that I do not like is the movement of the car, and I'm going to make some easings in there. And I created a video where I explained easings, and I'm going to provide the link in the description. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the keyframe, I'm going to click on this classic ease, and I'm going to choose easy in out, and I'm going to choose this first quad option, which is very slight option, and I'm going to double click. And now we have little easing on the animation. Cool. So right now what I would like to do is I would like to create some background. And for the background, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take the color from the Mercedes website, because this is how I would work if Mercedes was my client. So I am going to the Mercedes website, just type Mercedes to the Google, and I would like to get this color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit print screen. I will go to the Photoshop. I'm going to open new window. It doesn't matter what kind of size. I'm going to paste this. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the color like so. I'm going to copy it, You do not need to go to the Mercedes website and do the print screen because the color is 1E1E1E, so you can just type this. And I will go to the stage and I will paste my color in there, like so. Okay, cool. So the next thing that I am going to do is I am going to create some kind of light effect, because I would like to create light in here so my car is more visible on this background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create new layer, and on this new layer I am going to create a shape, and this shape is going to be white shape, and I do not want to have the stroke, and I am going to create something like this. Okay, the next thing is that I am going to align this to the center like so, and I am going to put this below my car, and I am going to this color option, and again I am going to choose radial gradient, and right now I want this to go from the white to the color of the background, like so, and the color of the background I want this to be transparent. So right now we are going to have something like this. Okay, and now what I want to do is click on this one, hit F8, convert this to the symbol. I will call this to be light, for example, light like this, and I will hit OK. And now what I want to do is click on this one and blur this little bit, like so. Okay, something like this. And what I can do right now is I can make this little bit bigger if I want. Something like this. Okay, or something like this. Cool. I'm going to hit Ctrl Enter, and we will see what we are going to have. Okay, cool. So I think that this so far looks pretty cool, and we can continue. One thing is that if I test this, everything is going to look fine, but there is this little issue that I am going to explain at the end of the video, and it's like, if right now I will go to my banner, to my exported, and I will hit File and Publish, so we have in real time published our HTML, and if I try to open this, look what is going to happen. It is going to look weird like this, okay? And I am going to explain how you can fix this at the end of the video. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and right now what I want to do is I want to create an effect of the lights of the car, that they are switching on. So what I can do basically is double click into the car. Okay, and now I am going to create a new layer, and I will call the bottom layer to be car and top layer to be light, like so. And now I am going to zoom in a little bit. I am again going to get my oval tool. I am going to choose the white color, and I am going to draw something like this. Okay, and I'm going to put it like so. I think that this is fine. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to convert this to the symbol. So I will hit F8. I can call this car light, for example. I am going to hit OK. And now what I can do is again go to my blur and blur this like so. Okay, fine. And now what you can do is, if you want, you can double click and you can change the color from the white to some kind of tint of the yellow if you want. This is really optional. Okay, you can play with this if you want. So we can do something like this. And right now what I am going to do is, with my Alt, I am going to duplicate this to the second light, like so. And now what I want to do is highlight both of them, hit F8, and convert both of them to the symbol like so. And I will call this car lights, for example. I will hit OK. And here we are. Okay, cool. And right now, this is going to looks like this. But again, if I hit Ctrl Enter, it is going to look fine. Like this. Okay. But if I would go and open my index HTML, and probably I will have to go and publish it one more time. I do not need to. It looks weird like this. Okay, so I will later on explain you how you can do this. Right now we can go and continue a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I do not want to have the lights on the car immediately from the beginning. I want my lights to switch on when the card came in here, okay? And so what I need to do right now is I'm going to expand my timeline. So this layer 3 is the light effect, okay? It is the, if I hide this, it is this one. So I want to expand this maybe to frame 250. We can change this later on if we want. And the same thing I want for the car. And I know that I do not want to move my car anymore. So I can also go and hit F5 like so. Okay. And right now what I am going to do is I'm going to check when my car is going to came in here. And it is on the frame 140. So I want an animation from 140 to maybe 180 to switch my lights on. Okay, and so what I am going to do is I am going to go inside my car, where are my lights, and I am also going to expand the timeline in here to be the same length as the timeline, as the main timeline, okay? And these nested timelines, because it is called nested timeline, the timeline in the timeline, it can be confusing, but the rule is that you want to have the length of the main timeline, which is right now 250, same as the inner timelines, okay? And I didn't do the same thing with this little gate, and the reason why I didn't have to do it, because this gate is only 80 frames, and the reason why I didn't have to do it is because this is going to disappear. So I don't care about that anymore, okay? But if anything is going to stay, it should be the same length as this one. So hopefully you understand this. I am going to go inside my car. I am going to just expand to 250 with F5 like so. And the lights, I will go to frame 120. I will hit F6. And I'm going to choose my alpha to be 0. And I'm going to do the same thing for the first one. So alpha is going to be 0. And then from 120 to maybe 160, I'm going to hit F6. And I'm going to put alpha to the 100%. And I'm going to create classic twins. And right now we are going to have something like this. And now I realize that I wanted this from 140 to 180. So I will go inside. And basically I am going to just move this like so. Okay. And now what I need to do is to expand this to the 250 also. So I will hit F5. Okay. I'm going to save this, Ctrl S. I will hit Ctrl Enter. And now we are going to have something like this. Okay, it will come and the lights will switch on. So right now I'm going to show you how you can fix the problem with the exported files. And if I go to my index, okay? And I'm going to open this. As I showed you before, my lights are going to look very weird. And the reason is that it is not, these blur effects are not supported in the browsers, okay? So what I have to do to fix this is to go back to the animate, and first I'm going to fix the background light. So what I can do is click on this one, then go to the modify and convert to bitmap. And this converting to bitmap is going to change this from the HTML5 thing to the bitmap, to the image. So I will hit convert to bitmap, and I'm going to do the same thing for the car lights. So I will double click, then I'm going to go inside the lights like so, and I will click on these lights, and I'm going to go to modify and convert to bitmap. Okay, now I'm going to hit file and publish. Okay, and now if I go to my index and I will open this, everything should be working fine. Okay, so yes, we have something like this. Cool. So right now what I want to do at the end of the video is I just want to create some little text and create some little button. And what I want to do right now is I want to go to the Google and I'm going to type Mercedes font. And this is going to find me some font which is going to be maybe similar to the Mercedes font. So I would go like this, and I would download the font like this. Okay, and I'm going to provide the link in the description for you. Okay, so I already downloaded it, so I did not need to. And then you need to install the font. So all you need to do to install the font is highlight your fonts. It is going to come as a zip, and then you need to unzip it and then hit install. Okay, but I already did this. And when you install new font, it is not going to appear in the Animate or in Photoshop or in any other software. And what you need to do is switch it off and on, and then it is going to work. But don't forget to save your project before you are going to close it. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my text, and I'm going to find the font, and it is this corporate seal. And I will go to the main timeline, which I am on. I will hit the new layer, and I am going to just simply type Mercedes Benz, something like this. Okay, and I'm going to scale this up a little bit, and I'm going to place it somewhere. Okay, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to call this to be text1, and I'm going to hit new layer, and I'm going to create a button. And for the button, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to go to the Mercedes website. So I'm going to type Mercedes like so, and I want to get this blue color, okay, for the button. So I already print screened this to the Photoshop, and what I'm going to do right now is I will get the color like so. I am going to copy the color. I will go back to my animate. I will get the shape, and I am going to choose this color is 00ACED. Okay, so you do not need to print screen the Mercedes website. You can just type this color, and I'm going to create something like this. Then I will go inside. I will choose white color, and I will just type go to the website. Okay, and I'm obviously going to make this font smaller, something like this, and I'm going to put it like so. Okay, and approximately to the middle. Okay, and now I'm going to move this so I can align this like so, approximately. Cool. And right now what I want to do is both of them, I want to convert this to the symbol. So I will hit F8 on the text and I'm going to call this text1. I will hit OK. I'm going to highlight this one. Again, F8. I could go with the button, but I do not want to explain buttons in the video. I have a video about button on my YouTube channel. So I will keep this movie clip and I am going to call this button and I will hit OK. Cool. And right now what I want to do is very simply animate them. So what I can do is highlight both of these keyframes, move them somewhere here. Okay, maybe to frame 140. And I can rename this. This is going to be button. And what I can do is to go maybe to frame 180, hit F6 on both of them, and then go to the first keyframes, click on the text and choose alpha to be 0 like so. And with the arrow, I want to move this down. So I'm holding shift and with my mouse I'm moving this down a little bit. And then what I am going to do is create classic twin. And now we are going to have animation which is going to fade in and will go up. Okay. And I want to create some kind of easing. So I'm going to get both of my keyframes and I want easy out. And I'm going to choose this cubic, for example, and I'm going to double click. And now we are going to have something like this. I will save, I will hit Ctrl Enter. And now we are going to have something like this. Okay, cool. And one thing that I want to do is move this little bit to the back. So this is going to happen later. So I'm going to move it like so, for example. So from 140 to 180, the lights are going to appear and then these texts are going to appear. And what I can do is I can delay the button a little bit like so. So first is going to be text and then the button. Okay, so I will save this. I will hit Ctrl Enter. And now this is going to look like this. Boom, boom. Mercedes-Benz, go to the website. Okay, and by default, this is going to be looping forever. Okay, and there is an option to stop the loop. And if you want to stop the looping, what you need to do is create a new layer. I am going to call this to be code. And then I will go to the beginning. I will right click, choose actions. And I'm going to just type this dot stop like this. So very simple JavaScript. And this is going to stop the animation after one play. Okay, so I'm going to hit this arrow. And now what I can do is drag this little action. You can see this little A to the end. Because if it is going to stay at the beginning, nothing is going to happen because it would stop the animation immediately from the beginning. So we want to put this onto the end. And right now, if I hit Ctrl Enter, the animation is not going to be looping. At least what is on the main timeline is not going to be looping. It is going to stay like this. Okay. But the animations which are inside are going to be still looping. Okay. So if you want to stop all of the animations, what you have to do is also go inside the car, and inside the car you would have to do the same thing. You would have to create a new layer, call this code, and again do the same thing. So click, right click, actions, this dot stop, and like this. Okay. and then you would move this in here, like so. Okay, and there is also an option to put a code that this is going to repeat 2 times, and then it is going to stop, and so on. And for example, Google AdWords had the rule, maybe they have changed it, but they had the rule that the animation, the banner, HTML5 banner, must be only 30 seconds long. So you have to put codes like this to stop the animation after some time, because otherwise AdWords would reject the banners. Okay, and they had all types of rules. For example, that banner must have only 150 kilobytes and so on, but that is a topic for another video. I just wanted to show you how you can do something like this in Adobe Animate CC 2019. Okay, cool. And if you want to send this to the client, what you would do is go to your banner and go to the file and publish, and depending on the platform that this is going to go, for example, there is AdWords, AdRoll, or you can just put it on the website to your friend. It's optional, but there might be needed to create some kind of changes in the code little bit, but maybe your client can do this. But what you would do is zip this like so, and then send the zipped file to the client. Okay, so this index, JavaScript, and some images in there. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is it. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, and hopefully you learned a lot. And if you like this video, please hit the like, hit the subscribe and the bell button if you are interested in more videos like this. And if you have any suggestions, any questions, put them in the comments below, and I am going to see you in the next video. So thank you very much for watching, and see you later. Goodbye.